Alright, here we go. I posted a video the other day about some shock work I needed to do on my Limitless V2 GT setup. I think the rear end was squatting too much, and it was lifting the front just a little bit to lose traction. That'll get worse as speeds go up. So I want to put a little more of a stop here. I think I'm going to put, these are 3D printed TPU pieces. I think I'm going to put that one in there, and then I might trim up what I've got for the front. The front, I actually put spacers under the pistons to make sure, to limit the travel, so the front would always be lower than the back. I saw on a James McCoy video, but I need to kind of make these adjustments and get these new Perfect Pass springs on. I need to kind of take the pistons off and then kind of reassemble with the spring this way. So I obviously already drained my stuff out. So I'm just going to put these other limiter on there. It's pretty hard to see, but get my piston back on. Get my nut on there, maybe. Still a little oil keeping it. Get all the way down. It's a little tricky. Alright, I kind of like that. It'll flex a little bit. So, alright, I'm going with that. Just try to keep that back end up. And tighten this down. Like that. Alright, so see if this goes smoother and how I end up editing it. So to add this additional spacer that I printed TPU, I believe it's 4 millimeters. The other one on there is 12, so I'm going with 16 millimeters of total stoppage, and then putting the new Perfect Pass on. So with those stoppers, it's hard to get the retainer on as well as the spring. or the stop with the spring retainer and then the spring on. The socket's too deep, so this is why I'm having to go and kind of get the nut just right on there. Oh, almost had it. Alright, so I got the nut resting on top of there. And I went too deep again. Just a measure of patience. There we go. Alright, so there we go. So pretty limited movement. I mean, that TPU will flex with under high pressure, so I'm just gonna match up these collars. Get the same measurement. 11 millimeters. And I'm going to pour this back in. I'm going to go lighter in the front too. One thing I do not like about this doing it this way is I can't really let the shock set. Bubbles come out. These shock caps have bleeder screws on the top, so typically overfill them. Movement, so I see bubbles coming out, so I'm going to kind of just hold these and let the bubbles make their way out, and I'll come back when I bleed. Alright, I'm back. Worked on the front shocks. I was able to get the springs without taking the piston out. I also didn't want to do that because I've got spacers underneath the piston, like I said, to kind of bring the front end down without monkeying with droop. So this gets messy. Like I said, I overfilled, and as I've been watching, I think I way overfilled. So I took the bladders out, and then I just kind of push them over. So I know I'm full of shock oil in there. And tighten them down. Did take the bleeder screw out. All these don't move much, but I want to kind of press down as much as I can on those and get this back in there. That's kind of just adjusting the air in there. Way too much oil. So then I always just clean them up. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, quick one. Just doing some shock work. I'll get the shocks back on. I'm going to replace the servo, and then I'll just do a kind of final cut of what was done, and I'm planning on taking this out tomorrow if weather holds and it's not too windy. So we'll see. All right, got the new shocks and springs in with the bigger stops in the back. It's definitely keeping the back end more. We'll see if it's, I feel like it's too high now, but it's definitely helping keep the back end up higher and hopefully traction up front. Did put the new servo in. Fortunately had another servo horn that worked. You need kind of a tall one to clear the box here. Just a reminder, when you do replace servos, I have an AVC receiver on this. If you do have the AVC receiver, you got to rebind and calibrate the receiver, because I had to make some tweaks on travel and where it's centered and stuff, and that'll affect how it responds AVC. So I'm charging up batteries now and hopefully going to be out tomorrow. I did 107 on 4S on this a few weeks ago. I geared up a little bit and gonna run 4S again. I'm gonna kind of creep 4S up, and think I could probably get into the 120s on 4S with this setup, and then I'll kind of gear it back down and start back at 6S and work my way up, and maybe to 8S. This is a 2400 kV motor. Just on paper, you don't need to gear very high to get fast with it, and I know these motors can overload things pretty quick just because of that high kV. So gonna play around with it. I'll post the runs, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. Arrma at ya. Yeah.